I never imagined I'd end up in a battle with a neighborhood tyrant, but that's exactly what happened when I left town for half a year. My name's Ethan, and I own a gorgeous 2-acre plot of untouched land in the gated Pinewood Hills community. It's a quiet, wooded haven, a blank canvas for the dream home I plan to build someday. But for now, it's just my slice of peace, so I thought. Last year, my dad in Germany had a massive stroke, and I dropped everything to be with him. I took a 6-month leave from work, locked the gate to my property, slapped up private property signs everywhere, and even sent a formal letter to the Pinewood Hills Homeowners Association to let them know I'd be gone. I figured I'd covered all my bases. What I didn't count on was Melissa Carter, the HOA's newly crowned president, seeing my absence as her golden ticket. The day I got back, I was a wreck jet lag from a 14-hour flight, head pounding, barely able to keep my eyes open. But I drove straight to my land to check on it. As I pulled up, my stomach dropped. The heavy padlock I'd installed was gone, replaced by some cheap combination lock I'd never seen. Worse, I could hear voice slaughter, chatter coming from inside my property. I fumbled with the gate, my hands shaking, and when I finally shoved it open, I froze. 3 camper vans were parked in a sloppy circle, lawn chairs strewn about, and a group of strangers was ha-VYing a full-on barbecue right in the middle of my land. My oak trees, the ones I'd been so careful to protect, were hacked back, branches dangling like broken limbs. A makeshift fire pit sat surrounded by empty beer bottles, and my small pond, the one I'd spent years nurturing, was half filled with dirt to make room for more camping space. I felt my blood boil as I stormed toward them, trying to keep my voice steady. "Excuse me," I said, my words sharp enough to cut glass. "This is private property. Who the hell let you in here?" The group turned, confused. A guy in a faded baseball cap stepped forward, holding up a receipt. "We paid for the weekend," he said, almost apologetic. "Melissa from the HOA said the owner was fine with it. Said you gave the green light." I snatched the paper from him, my jaw tightening. There it was, an official-looking receipt for weekend camping access, complete with the HOA letterhead and Melissa's looping signature. $300. I couldn't believe it. I told the campers they'd been lied to, apologized, and asked them to pack up. Most were decent about it, though clearly pissed their weekend was ruined. One couple even showed me texts from Melissa, promising everything was legit, claiming I'd given full permission. As they drove off, I stood there, staring at the mess. Scorched patches from fire pits, trash everywhere, nails hammered into my trees for string lights. It was a nightmare. That night, I called an emergency HOA meeting. When I walked into the community center, Melissa was already there, holding court like a queen. Her blonde hair was perfect, her yoga outfit screaming, "I don't actually sweat." When she saw me, her smile flickered, then doubled in brightness. "Ethan," she chirped, voice dripping with fake warmth. "Welcome back. We've been keeping your property active, for community standards." The other board members squirmed, their glances screaming this wasn't their idea. I slammed the receipts on the table. "You've been renting out my land," I said, voice low and cold, "without my consent, and keeping the cash." Melissa didn't even blink. She laughed, a sharp, patronizing sound that made my skin crawl. "Oh, Ethan, when a property sits empty here, it falls under HOA jurisdiction. It's in the bylaws. You didn't say we couldn't use it, so there's implied consent. I was just being resourceful. That land was just sitting there, doing nothing." She flashed a smile at the board, expecting backup. No one moved. I kept my cool. "Show me the bylaws that say you can rent my property and pocket the money." Her smile tightened. She claimed the cash was in a special account for community projects, but when I demanded to see it, she said she didn't have the records. That's when Tom, the treasurer, spoke up, nervous. "Melissa, I've never seen any account like that in our books." The room went dead silent. Melissa's face flushed, but she doubled down. "This is ridiculous. I was doing the community a favor. That eyesore of a lot was finally useful, and as president, I have the authority to make decisions." I went home that night, too angry to sleep. The nerve of this woman renting my land, lying to neighbors, pocketing cash kept me up, pacing. By morning, I was on the phone with a property lawyer, then the police to report trespassing and possible fraud. I started talking to neighbors, and the stories poured out. Melissa had told everyone I'd enthusiastically agreed to let the HOA manage my land. My neighbor Sarah showed me emails supposedly from SAMI, ing Melissa permission for community enrichment. I never wrote them. My lawyer, Rachel Kim, was a pro at HOA disputes and couldn't believe Melissa's audacity. "This is straight-up unauthorized use of property," she said. "And if she's keeping money off the books, that's fraud." Sarah and another neighbor, Mike, gave me security footage showing Melissa leading campers onto my land, collecting cash, even directing a crew to chop down one of my oaks for more space. While I confronted Melissa with this, her mask slipped. "Look," she snapped, her voice like a blade. "I'm trying to raise property values. Your empty lot was a hazard. I did you a favor. And honestly, who's the board gonna believe? Me, who's been here 15 years? Or you, who ditched your land for months?" She leaned in, eyes narrowing. "Drop this, or I'll bury you in HOA violations." I just smiled and walked away. "Big mistake, Melissa." She'd threatened me in front of witnesses. I sued her and the HOA. The HOA's insurance company, smelling trouble, tried to settle, offering to fix my land and cover legal fees. But I wasn't backing down. This wasn't about money. It was about making Melissa pay for her arrogance. Word of the lawsuit spread, and neighbors started spilling more dirt. Melissa had been running a racket, collecting special assessments that never hit the HOA books, threatening anyone who questioned her, even using HOA funds to redo her backyard as a community showcase. The court day came, and I was ready. Rachel had an airtight case: receipts, camper testimonies, financial records showing no trace of Melissa's special account, and those forged emails traced back to her personal computer. Melissa showed up in a prim suit, playing the innocent volunteer blindsided by false accusations. But her act crumbled fast. When her lawyer tried, arguing the bylaws gave her implied authority over empty lots, the judge cut him off, annoyed. Maintaining a property doesn't mean turning it into a campground. And nothing here says you can collect rent and hide it. The forged emails were the final nail. Melissa stammered, "I was just helping. The community needed that space." The judge wasn't buying it. He ruled fast. Melissa was liable for trespassing, fraud, unauthorized use, and forgery. I got due $75,000 in damages, plus legal fees. The HOA's insurance would cover some, but Melissa was on the hook for most. Her face when the gavel dropped? Priceless. She went pale, speechless for once. That night, the HOA board kicked her out as president, and the police opened an embezzlement investigation. I heard her on the phone outside the courthouse, sobbing to her husband about maybe selling their house to pay the judgment. As she stormed past me, she hissed, "Happy now? You ruined my life over a piece of dirt you weren't even using." I didn't respond. She'd done this to herself. The aftermath was wild. My land's being restored, and the neighborhood's buzzing about Melissa's downfall. But it's got me thinking, what do you make of this? Was I right to go scorched earth, or should I have settled and moved on? Is Melissa a scheming VY Lane, or just someone who got in over her head? And how far would you saw go to protect what's yours? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you're Team Ethan, and subscribe for more stories like this. Let's get this convo going.